we checked out a system this week from Camino that has...
From Camino?
Yeah?
A system from Camino?
Yeah.
Nice.
The company's called Camino.
That's cool.
Wait, am I missing something?
Isn't that where they like made clones?
No, I don't think so.
Camino.
Really?
Yeah.
In my defense...
Camino, purged from the Jedi archives. All evidence of the mysterious world of Camino was removed.
In my defense...
A lonely world beyond the Outer Rim.
It's been a moment since I've watched the prequel trilogy.
Did I just Star Wars knowledge you?
Oh, yeah.
It hasn't happened many times.
I never claimed to be a big prequel trilogy nerd. Yeah. If you can original trilogy or like early expanded universe out nerd me, then I will be surprised, even though it's been 20 years.
That's a probably not.
Yeah, that's really going to be tough.
Yeah.
But when it comes to anything newer, like I haven't even seen Clone Wars.
I watched the animated series?
Yeah, I watched the first episode and it's pretty kiddie, Luke.
Yeah, it really, the whole thing is questionable. There's parts that are really good.
Got it.
I have never actually just sat down and watched it. That's another note that it is kind of important.
It's always just been on.
Yes.
You've been like, this is cool. I like lasers.
I'm gonna do something else while this is on like a side monitor or something.
Got it. Okay. Yeah. So we checked out the system from Camino that has 4 NVIDIA A6000s in it. And the whole time while we were playing around with it, by the way, you know the BMW Blender render?
Yeah.
Okay. It did it in like 7 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, Classroom. Oh man, what was Classroom? No, I'm afraid. I think Classroom was like 13 or 14 seconds.
This is getting into
like these are insane
durations where you have to make a new test, basically.
Pretty much. We ran Classroom with instead of 300 samples, 10,000 samples, and it went to like 3 minutes or something like that. Like it is actually ridiculous. This is a fast system, and we went through this whole thing with it, not knowing how much it cost, because we were kind of sitting there going, well, I don't know. That kind of takes some of the fun out of it, right? Like, who wants to know how much this crazy thing costs? Let's just look at it and go, ooh, ah. And at the end, we started adding it up, and we realized that the CPUs for it were something like $7,000 each. Like, to give you guys some idea of how much money there is in the data center space, you know, you think in your sheltered consumer mindset, right? You think a $500 CPU is very expensive. And you're right.
Yeah.
It's a lot of money for processed sand, right? But in the data center, $500, that's not even worth writing a check for, okay? Just to put it in perspective, right?
Why are we ordering that low of a unit count?
Exactly. Let's just tack it on to our next order. Don't even bother. It's not worth doing the paperwork. So these CPUs are like $7,000 each. And we go and we look up these GPUs, these A6000s. By the time they're water blocked and integrated into this crazy render system, they're like $5,000, $6,000, $7,000 each. And it's got 4 of them in there. And you go on Camino's site and they don't expect you to buy one of these, okay? You go on Camino's site for the, what is it? The Grando RM. Check this thing out. And they're like, yeah. And one of the really important features of it is that it's available as a Grando MDC, a container full of Grandos with a total power of up to, what is it? Half a megawatt. Half a megawatt, my friends.
Oh my god.
Okay? I just don't even know how to deal with this. It's crazy. I mean, look at the cooling solution they built for this thing. I'm sorry, we're going back to my screen here. Like, what the actual bananas is this? Racks on racks on racks. This is like, it's like those mining containers, except for, you know, actually doing something productive. You know what I mean?
Wow.
Crazy, right?
That is nuts.
So we got just one of these things, and we're utterly blown away by the performance of it. And I forget how I got on this topic now.
Man, I was wondering like what...
Oh, the money in the data center. Yeah, money.
There's a lot of money there.
And that GPU is not actually a ton more die area than what NVIDIA might put on something like an RTX 3080 Ti. Okay? So the cost from that standpoint is not that much higher. It's higher because you got to understand, as you increase the die area, it's not just like, oh, this die is twice as big, it costs twice as much. Because as you go twice as big, the odds of an error go up by much, much more when you have fewer dies on a wafer. So the cost is significantly higher, but it sure as crap is not 7 times higher. Now, they are paying more for memory, and NVIDIA does not make memory, so they have to buy that from a third party. But the margin on data center GPUs is absolutely higher.
Crazy.
Wow.
I was wondering what people might use that for, and then scrolled down slightly on Camino's website, and it makes sense. A lot of like video production stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
Machine learning.
Filming with Unreal Engine 5 as like I believe, if I remember correctly, Mandalorian did a bunch of that.
Yes, they did.
And like, I wonder if
The
they used
coolest thing
something
about
like this
Mandalorian.
was how they filmed it.
No offense. I'm sorry. Mandalorian is a perfectly... If you were desperate, if every ounce of your being was crying out for Star Wars content, then it probably felt great.
Thanks for watching, and thanks to New for sponsoring this week's clips. You can get $50 off the KQi3 and $30 off the KQi2 kick scooters on Amazon using the links in the description below.